We should have read the signs. Looking back now, we had seen so many red flags and omens. All of us were apprehensive about our upcoming trip to the butcher shop since we weren't quite sure what to expect. The butcher shop was located in a more remote part of Cyprus, in a corner of the village of Agros. Some of our group were more enthusiastic about our delving into the culture of Cypriot meat traditions. We tried to stay optimistic, even though we couldn't help but let our thoughts wander as to what was about to happen. But let me start from the beginning. It was Friday. We woke up early, ready to go on our field trip to the traditional meat factory named Kafkalia.
Going to the meat factory, I expect there to be a lot of meat.
I hope I don't see any cows or anything roaming around because I'll feel really bad.
I'm really looking forward to going to the sausage factory. I've always really liked meat just as a food. It's my favorite kind of food. So just seeing how meat is made it's going to be really fun for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Traditionally quaint on the outside, Kafkalia had been up and running for about 32 years. Inside, raw carcasses hang from the ceiling while others drenched in red wine, the family's specialty. We were ready to learn more about Cypriot culture, but felt uneasy by what we had already seen of the butcher shop. Stephen was overly anxious to get a complete rundown of the inner workings of Kafkalia. His passion for meat shone through his abundance of questions that he continued to ask throughout the tour. Part of us were astonished about the meat process itself, while the other part was speechless over the 2-week process of refining the meat to perfection. One member in particular couldn't curb his newfound craving of the traditional Cypriot meat.
My food pyramid consists of meat. It's that good. And this place, they had this great meat that I've never tried before. I got to try goat and different kinds of pork, and they soak the meat in wine. Who does that? It was so good. I loved it.
The very first room they took us in was a freezer, and it was way cold. We were all shivering, and we looked into the buckets and we saw these pieces of raw meat soaked in what looked like blood. It was terrifying. But they told us that it was just red wine, which is still kind of disgusting. It's still pretty shocking though.
And then they let it sit there for a couple weeks, and then they hang it up in the smoke room, and they just smoke it at a very low temperature for a couple weeks. And then what they get is this delicious smoked meat, and it's great. I mean, I'm gonna get some actually here for my sandwich.
It just smelled very kind of musty, and it smelled delicious because it was meat, but
Now, what was really interesting about the owners of the shop was that it was a family-run business, and they had been running for 32 years, and the lady that we talked to didn't even remember a time when she didn't work in the meat shop. So it was really cool that they kept the tradition and just went from generation to generation in the family to keep the shop going.
it was, I felt like I was in meat heaven when I was in there. I'll be honest, the smoke room I thought was a little creepy. I think I've watched one too many horror films, but it was cool. It was just meat.
Really good. Put in a little bit of pita bread and grab the lutza. I think I'm out. No! Hold on. It's probably just back here. I just forgot it. Oh no. I knew I should have bought more. Who else? Do you guys know who else has lutza? Haley.
Haley! Give me that lutza!
What no one had realized was that a deeply rooted cuisine that had been cherished by generations would spark strong lust in the taste buds of an outsider not used to the delicate craft of Cypriot tradition.